How old is your cabin? The cabin you have out on the ranch or sitting back in the woods? Well, I'm going to help you figure that out by what the cabin can tell us. One of the major components of sticking log cabins together, holding them together other than gravity, is wooden pegs or nails. Well, you can look at the nails that are in the initial construction of your cabin and it will give you an idea approximately of the time that it was built. What we know about nails, and I've learned this from years of taking cabins apart and studying them, is that if in the initial construction of your cabin there are cut nails, or what people commonly call square nails, it was probably done before 1920 or so. If in that construction, the initial construction, it is done with wire nails, or what we know today as common nails, spikes, that it was done after about 1895. And this has everything to do with the production and availability of nails. The wire nail, or the common nail, didn't show up in mass production until about 1895. And then from there on became the go-to nail. Previous to that were the cut nails, stamped nails, square nails, if you will. And, that's what was available then. Well, we end up from the 1890 to the 1920 overlap from the fact that a lot of cut nails or square nails were still available as old stock in hardware stores and lumber yards. So people kept buying those until the supplies of those were exhausted. So taking this overlapping range of nail use into consideration, look at your building. If it's all cut nails in the initial construction, it's an earlier building. Now I'm going to show you a couple places on this building that I'm working on in Wyoming. There's a cow barn, and it was an earlier build that was moved about 1.5 miles to a ranch and then reconstructed. Well, we have evidence of both time frames in here, and let's have a look. Okay, in this post construction, this is a French style building where you have vertical posts and then the logs are brought up to it and then held in with a small pole. Well, if we look at these poles, we can see here a square nail head. And here's another square nail head. These were the original poles from the original build, and they were moved and left on there in the reconstruction. Now, on up here, we find another one. And then down here, we find where someone tried to drive a wire nail. So where they thought they needed to, they would add another nail. So this cabin was moved in here after 1890. Look at this big wire nail. See the round head on it? That was added. And here's the original square nail or cut nail head. You can tell by how squarish it is. So that's a method. It's not uncommon for a cabin to have had an addition on it maybe the original is cut nails or pegs. And then later, when the family decided they had a different use for it or wanted to expand, added on a lumber addition, well, look at the nails in that. And it will tell you the evolution of the building. It's very interesting. These cabins, they can talk to us about their history. If we just look carefully, this is what has been done to them over the years. So I hope you find that helpful. It's very interesting. Maybe next time you walk up to a log cabin, you'll start looking at the nails, and it'll tell you something about it. Thanks for hanging in here with me. This is William Bailey with Bill's Historical West. Please subscribe. I'm going to have more log cabin info coming down the pike. Yeah, I want to spend some of my life experience here teaching you something about log cabins. You have a good day. Bye.